Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. I am super, super excited, just pumped. My friend Black Butterfly Goddess is here, and she's going to tell you all about who she is, what she does, and how she can help you. So take it away.
Thank you, my darling. I appreciate the beautiful introduction and the time here that, yes, we did need to spend together. Thank you for having me here. I'm Tawana Yvette, also known as the one and only Black Butterfly Goddess. I am a fourth generation intuitive healer, psychic medium, spiritual guide, and international best-selling published author. So in a nutshell, I help people heal their trauma, find their purpose, and grow spiritually. And I do that through coaching. I don't call it coaching, I call it guidance.
Yes.
I think the word coaching kind of lost some of its value
Yes.
after the pandemic. Would
Yes.
you agree, Tammy?
I do because it seems that everyone and their brother is a coach
Is a
that
coach.
possibly aren't qualified. They
Right,
don't even have
right.
any
So
certificates or anything.
exact well or life experience. There's
Right.
nothing there.
Hmm.
You just think you know things. And
Yes.
so while I might not be certified by what is it, ICF, I
Yeah.
am definitely certified by life. My specialties are trauma relating to SA, especially incest, domestic abuse, both violent and nonviolent, and narcissistic abuse. So
Yes.
those are my three specialties, and it's because I've experienced all three of them,
Yes. Yes.
four
Yes.
of them. So I was impregnated by my father at 15, and thrown into the New York City group home system after I told, because you know what happens in this house stays in this house.
Yes.
And went on to be a teenage mother and just didn't make good choices in significant others or friends. If you know,
Yes.
in most of my friendships, I didn't make good choices in either. And so it put me in this people pleasing space where I just wanted everybody else to be happy,
Yes.
but I never knew what happiness felt like because I wasn't happy. I was screaming from the inside, somebody see me, somebody help me, somebody, like just notice me.
Yes.
But I didn't notice me.
Yeah.
And so since I put me on the back burner, I felt like I was on the back burner. And 3 years ago, on March 19th, um, will be the anniversary of me attempting to take my life.
Oh, wow.
And it was a serious attempt. It was not a cry for help. It wasn't. It was, I took an entire bottle of prescription sleeping medicine.
So you was just ready to go.
I was ready to go with coffee and vinegar so they would melt faster. And I hate vinegar.
So you did the research. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I wanted them to melt. I was ready to go. I had lived being abused my whole life. I didn't in one way or another.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what life would be like without abuse.
Mm.
And I was in a very toxic relationship, but didn't think it was toxic because he never hit me. Here's this charismatic fourth grade teacher and, cute little son and, all of this stuff. And here I am thinking, girl, you healed. You're choosing better. You're choosing better. And you know how at the end of the video game you got to defeat the biggest monster? Well, he was the biggest monster and he defeated me. And so he would scream at me to get me this close to a seizure and then tell me to take my medicine. Scream at me for 3 and 4 days at a time.
Mm.
Keep me from sleeping, loud
Trying to kill
noise,
you.
a lot of loud noise, um, TV up all the time, music up at 3 in the morning, just blasting from the clip speakers, just blasting, always noise. And And if he had more than one vodka, which he would drink three this size,
Oh my goodness.
I knew it would be a bad night.
So he
And
was he
so,
was he was unhealed and you were unhealed.
yeah, and it just didn't go together. And so I did try to take my life, but thank goodness I survived.
Yes,
I was
yes.
taken to the ancestral realm, and there waiting for me were my stepfather, my daddy. And when he was in my life, I was a daddy's girl. And my mother, and I begged them, I pleaded with them, let me stay with you. And my mother told me, no, you have a purpose and it begins now. And she pushed me back into my 3D body. And
What an experience.
yeah. And to be able to, I couldn't recall it. I remember telling my daughter, I went somewhere. I went somewhere. Like it wasn't like I was just, I went somewhere. And so the ancestors had me blinded for a while so that I didn't remember that experience. And it wasn't until 2 years later when I moved into this apartment, no, a year and a half later, when I moved into this apartment, that they unveiled that memory
Mm,
to show me where I went and what happened. And I was blown away.
mm.
Um, I was absolutely blown away when I finally remembered it because I kept saying I went somewhere.
Yeah,
And it wasn't, I remembered enough to remember that I went somewhere that that's not normal.
right.
It wasn't just a dream,
Mm,
but I moved back to DC because if I had stayed in Atlanta, I would have repeated that pattern
yeah,
again. Probably with him, I would have gone into his rotation of, I'm not in a relationship. Can you come over?
yeah.
And my
So it
healing
was
journey.
definitely a necessary move for you.
It was. It was. I had to move.
Yeah,
It hurt me like hell to leave my kids. I had never lived away from them. Um, it hurt like hell, but it was a necessary evil. And I moved here and really dug my heels into my healing. My children separated from me for a while, rightfully so. They should have,
yeah,
um, because my trauma spilled into their lives.
right.
And
As it does.
yeah, it does. It does. When you don't know how how would I have ever known how to heal something like that? We didn't have the information we have today. And I'm not saying that to make an excuse because I say it without excuse. I messed up and failed my daughters.
Yeah, and it's the
Period.
access, because we had it, but we didn't have the access like we have it now. Like
No,
now, you can
no.
click on something, you can do ChatGPT, you can do
Exactly. Exactly.
you can go in groups on
But
Facebook.
not only that,
Yeah,
yeah, we've got, access to different types of healing now. And that's
yeah,
what ultimately truly took me through my healing journey was different energetic modalities.
yes,
I realized 30 years of talking about what my father didn't do anything but keep me
in that space.
ruminating about what he did.
Yes,
And so when I had RTT hypnotherapy and here she goes in the subconscious and we go back there and now it doesn't hurt anymore. And so
all right.
so yeah, like how would I have known how to heal? But I started talking on podcasts last February. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary. And I have spoken on over 50 podcasts. I've done 5 women's summits. I've done um grief summit. I've been on 6 or 7 expert panels. And I just share who I am, what I've been through, and how to get through it.
And that's what people need anyway. You know, because
People want authenticity. They want to see, well, you've never lived this, so how would you know how to get through this?
yes.
Because anyone can spend the $5,000 for ICF certification. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
But do
And
you
lots do.
really know what anything feels like, or are you just sitting there writing notes? Because when women come to me now and I'm sitting on Zoom with them and they say, I came to you because my father did the same thing your father did. And I didn't result in pregnancy, but I came to you because you know what that feels like. People want to know that you see, like you've been on my TikTok lives. I always say, I built this container. I built my TikTok live space, my container for people to feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. Because those are the four things that I had never felt in my life when I walked in those woods and laid there to go to sleep forever. I never felt seen. I never felt heard. I never felt loved, and I never felt understood. Never.
Now, don't you think that, don't you think that a lot of that is characteristic of us Gen X's?
100%.
It's like,
We raised ourselves.
we did, we raised ourselves and other people.
Was 5 years old and I had a key right here. Come on. Walking
Right. Don't open
15th
the
city
door.
block.
Don't answer the phone.
Don't answer the phone unless it rings twice, hang up, ring again. It we raised ourselves. And don't forget to take the chicken out.
Yeah.
Um, but it is very characteristic of Gen X. And there's a lot of healing that needs to happen in Gen
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
um Gen X kind of needs to wake up and be honest and take a 100% take an evaluation of self.
Yes.
And if your kids are saying that their truth is different than yours, you need to look at that. You need to look at that because I put food in your stomach and a roof over your head and clothes on your back. We're supposed to do that.
And that's what they told us, and yeah, they told us that they did all these things, for us and,
Hmm.
blase, blase, and I put my life on hold for you and this and that. But that was your choice.
I didn't ask to come here. Well, I did, but that's a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast.
I mean, that's it. But it's amazing when I see that because I hear it all the time. And
Hmm.
I'm like, and when hear okay, so it's already snowing. So when I hear the person say, you know, um, well, this is how I was raised, and I had the key, like you said, I had a key,
Hmm.
and I did this and that. You know why? Because most of our mothers went to work.
Yeah,
We didn't have mothers like my grandparents. Like my
right.
grandmother, she didn't work for a
Hmm.
long time. And then when she did, I think she worked like nights for the telephone company or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so we didn't have those type of experiences.
No.
And some of us raised our kids in ways as well. But I actually met a lady on the cruise, and she was talking about how, and she was our age, and she was talking about how she had gotten out of Mormonism, the Mormon religion.
Mm.
I mean, excuse me, cult. And so
Right.
she had gotten out of that, and she said that she actually went and apologized to her grown kids
Hmm.
for putting them through that. She said, and it was BS, is what she said. And I was like,
I did the same thing recently. I told my kids I was sorry for making them get up and get dressed. It was funny because my granddaughter was saying, "Why doesn't mommy like dresses?" And I showed her a picture I have of all three girls on Easter. So, they all matched. They all had on light blue satin dresses and
yes.
lace and, lace around the socks and the stockings and all that stuff. And I showed her that photo, and it was I I had to tell my daughter, I'm sorry for making y'all do that every week. And then, I was married to two deacons, so we were always in church.
Every single
And
day the door swung open.
huh?
I said every
Exactly.
single day the door swung open. We were
Yes.
in the
And
building.
so we were always in church. And then my first husband would hold church at home for people. So even on a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon, there'd be a bunch of people in my house with him preaching to them or whatever. So it, I apologized to my kids for it.
And what I did was I didn't really, I kind of sort of did, but not really, because what I said was, yes, we were a little extreme, because we also, my ex-husband and I, the church that we pretty much raised our kids like the last 8 years, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we were actually, working in the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And we also encouraged them to work in the ministry. So like my son did the media ministry because he was an
Mm-hmm.
actor anyway, and so he wanted to learn that. So he did the
Mm-hmm.
media ministry. My daughter, and then he also sang on the rap team. They had a rap team.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter sang on the praise team for the youth, and then she sang in the choir. Then she did something else. I worked a whole bunch of things. My ex-husband,
Mm-hmm.
we both were over ministries and stuff like that. So we worked those and that, in addition to the work and the jobs that we did too.
Yep. Yep.
So, but I do feel like a lot of that did help them, even though now they're all, on their path. But a lot of that
Structure wise,
is, I was going to
yes.
say, help them. And the one thing that I appreciated was, you know, I made sure that they knew how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of where they, what direction they decided to go into, they
Mm-hmm.
know how to pray. And that was the one thing that I was appreciative of. But all the other stuff, I was like, I just, but we did what we knew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We did
And
what we
that's the
knew.
thing. That's the thing. I followed that path
Yeah.
because my father was a deacon.
Yeah.
So, I
So it's what
followed,
you know.
yeah.
Same thing. I was telling a young lady in an interview one day, we were talking. I said, when I was 17, I said, I'm not going to church no more.
Mm-hmm.
I got ready to leave, go to college and all that. I said, I'm 17. I said, you can, God can go in a file and pull out the drawer and pick any of those days, and I was there. Because when we was young, we went to church almost every day. My grandmother was a missionary mother at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, she branched out and she started her own church, which in and of itself was amazing in the 70s.
Yeah.
A
For a
woman.
woman,
I mean, actually bought the building. Yeah,
a
and wasn't a
woman,
part of
definitely.
any like denomination or nothing.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, she was a badass. So, but I actually kind of realized that just not too long ago. I sat and thought about that. I was like, wait, when I was talking about how women,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't even buy houses in this, what,
Right.
76 or something, we could buy a house, couldn't
Mm-hmm.
buy a
Mm-hmm.
car on our own and all this stuff. And I was like, and grandma went out there and bought a church.
She said, "I'm a top y'all. I wait, just hold my drink for a
Right?
minute. Just hold it for a second. Let me show you how it's done."
I'm telling
That's what
you.
that's what grandma says. She
She
said, "Let me
did.
show
It's
you
huge.
how
So
it's done."
so I think about that and it's like, okay, and then I consider all of that when we consider all of the pieces and the places that we went within those things, and then look at all the
Mm-hmm.
manipulation and the brainwashing and stuff that we endured and that we put our kids through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was an eye-opening conversation that I had with her because she was just like, she was talking to me like we was old girlfriends. She
Mm-hmm.
was feeling it
Mm-hmm.
all. She was like, girl, she was like, because it was a bunch of them around, and I picked it up that that's what they were. And and the one guy, because he went and got me a drink, and I said, "Are you Mormon?" He said, Mormonish.
I love it. I love it. Just a little bit.
Yeah, he was like Mormonish. I said, "Oh, okay."
Just tiny.
Good. But yeah, so let's get into a little bit about, how you actually came on this path. Because I know that, I laugh. I said, I know you weren't like born, doing this work. Although a lot of us are, we just don't know it. But
Right.
what brought you, to this full circle?
I've always been psychic. We've known since I was 2 years old. I was psychic. My mother tells the story of her cooking. I was two, and she was in the kitchen cooking. And back then a lot of places the kitchens had doors back in the day. It
Yeah,
wasn't always this open concept.
right.
And she hears me squealing and laughing in the living room, where she left me safe with my toys and stuff. And she peeks out the kitchen, and I'm going, "Pop, Pop, you can't catch me." And she's like, "My father's not here." And then the phone rings, and it's my grandmother telling her my pop-up transition. And so pop-up came to me. And my mother was very psychic. Um, she she taught me a lot until I was 9 and a half. She taught me a lot. And then that's when she told me I had to shut it down because that's when my natural father came back in my life.
Oh.
Um, so knowing I was psychic, but then getting into the church, I believed it was wrong.
Oh, yes, the devil.
Exactly. But it was okay when I was prophetess,
Yes, absolutely.
because they wanted to know what the word was.
Well, they
And
well they want to suck your gifts.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Because they love to shut you down too.
oh, of course, of
Oh,
course.
you know what, sister so and so, because blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna sit you down, so
Yeah.
we don't you go over here and you sit out until we call you back because we need you.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And so 2 years ago, my mother's voice got so loud I couldn't sleep. And she had me outside scripting, which is, subconscious
Yes.
journaling. And I did that for almost 2 years. Every night I would sit outside all night. I have a heated blanket and a Canada Goose coat that goes to -40. And I would sit outside with that coat and the heated blanket over me in the DC winter, in the snow, in the rain, in the ice. It didn't matter. I was outside. And I they did that for a purpose,
Yes.
because being outside, you can get the messages quicker, you
Oh,
can get the
yes.
downloads quicker.
Hmm.
And so then I was meditating in the recliner one day, and when I opened my eyes, my mother was standing in front of me. All of a sudden, I could see her. And I
Like with your
just
physical
remember,
eyes?
yeah, like, yeah, I could literally see her in front of me. And I'm just like, she finally stopped because first she used her smell. That's how I used to know she was around, her smell. Then I knew her energy and her voice, and then I opened my eyes and I could see her. And I remember bawling like a baby because I just wanted to hug her, but it's not a physical person. So,
Right.
but after 23 years of roaming this earth with no soul without my mother,
So she's been gone for 23 years?
it's been 25 years. When I
Wow.
saw her, it was 23 years. This April will be 26 years. So, I could finally see her and I could see Daddy. And then she started introducing my other ancestors to me. And it was funny because, like, I knew names up to a point. And so she gets to my fourth great grandmother and she's like, your fourth great grandmother is here. Her name is Jerusha, feel the energy around you. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Jerusha? What is that? I've never heard that name in my life. And so she goes, you have the Google, look it up. And so it was funny because I go on
Oh
Ancestry
yeah, you told me that
Family
story on the
Search.
pod for
Yeah.
day.
And it's the only photo in my lineage. Jerusha Ann Reevy. And I was just like,
So you found her on Google?
the only photo is her headstone, Jerusha Ann Reevy. There are no other photos in my mother's lineage except that one, her headstone. And so she's a little spicy Irish thing, about 4'2", red stringy hair every day. Where's my tea? As soon as I come out of the bedroom, or if I fall asleep in the recliner, as soon as I open my eyes. And yeah, I've got 18 ancestors in here right now. It's kind of crowded. Um the chief, I asked him what his name was. He told me the chief. I said, "Okay, chief, you got it. Your energy's a little too strong for me to challenge that. So, can you go back over there?" Yeah. So that's when I realized that my psychic gifts were in full swing. And I bought my first Oracle deck and started reading, and I've done over 1,000 readings in a year and a half. And it's probably more if I think about all the TikTok readings I've done.
Right.
But then I realized that I've been guiding people my whole life.
Yep.
People have always come to me for advice. People always want to know what I think.
Yes.
And my former coach, she said, I said, "I can't be a coach." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm not certified." And she goes, "What certifies you better than your life experiences?"
Well, the thing of it is too is just like you said, anybody can pay the money and go get the
Yep.
ICF thing or whatever, but it doesn't qualify them to be a coach.
Mm-mm.
Especially like I've seen, oh God, one girl, I don't think she was 20. And I was like, yeah, but no. I said, honey, I said, I'm gonna have to tell you like my grandma used to say, live a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
That was her thing. Like you would come to her with stuff and she'd laugh and she would say, just live a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Live a little longer, you learn a little more.
Yeah. Couldn't be my coach.
No, and that's
My
the
coach.
thing, it's crazy, but they say that they're trying to get uh what do you call it? Qualifications for coaches or certifications or something. This is the thing that I've heard recently was
Mm-hmm.
that they want to do that. But I was like, yeah, yeah. I still feel like you. I feel like so many of us have lived experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody was asking me about, because I'm from the South, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
so I said, well, I was bused. I was bused in the first grade, an hour
Mm-hmm.
away from my home. I
Mm-hmm.
said, they were like, well, did you see the water fountains? I was like, I did see them when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because I died the year that Martin Luther King was born. I mean, killed. I said,
Mm-hmm.
so I did see them. I said, I never used them or anything like that. I said, but I remember seeing them. I seen the sign,
Mm-hmm.
saw that. I said, so yeah, I mean, there are things that, we've seen and,
Right.
because of lived experiences,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and things that you can help
100%.
other people do.
Yep.
So I feel like, oh, snow. But I
Snowing
feel
hard.
it's like coming in as big. So, maybe it won't
Big
stick.
flakes.
Like maybe it won't stick.
You're right.
Right? Like,
You're right.
but I feel like, a part of what you do is because of who you have become. Like
Yes.
there's a transition, of all the different lived experiences that you've had and all the different types of trauma,
Mm-hmm.
that took you through that journey. And so now you have become this light.
Mm-hmm.
And also it feels like now is the time
It is.
to shine the light.
It is.
And for me, from looking at you, it feels like you're shining the light and you're opening. Can you see my hand? Like you're shining the
Mm-hmm.
light and you're
Mm-hmm.
opening it, and the light is just cascading. And the people are coming that need this
Yes.
because the people that you work with are a particular group.
Yes.
Like it's not just anybody that can work with you and
Oh
even
no.
the work. So there
Mm-mm.
are a particular group of people that are going to come, that are showing up to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that because they know you can understand.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
things that
Firsthand.
right. A lot of things
Firsthand.
that you experience, I haven't experienced, so I don't really understand that in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I
Mm-hmm.
might have done some psychology classes because I have done quite a few of those, but I've done some classes and I've had some courses and all that stuff. But you have the lived experience and you've experienced it, so you actually know, how to navigate that.
And healed it alone. I had
Right.
no one,
See, this is
no
the thing.
family, no friends. My kids were gone. I literally was in this apartment alone while the ancestors healed me. I did it all alone.
Yes. See, and that's the other part because I said the same thing. That's why when I came to this, helping people to align to love, helping them
Mm-hmm.
become the love
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I healed that alone.
Yes.
20 years after that, I healed it. There was nobody,
Right.
and I told you even the thing with my mother, it's like she wasn't there
Yeah.
for me with that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is what I'm doing. I tell people I was like, it was me and God.
Right.
I knew that I needed healing and I took the time and took the space. I didn't date, dated
Yep.
myself, loved on me, told myself beautiful things about me, all these
Mm-hmm.
things, lost some weight, of course, all the things that people do. But I did.
Mm-hmm.
There was not anybody, and anybody that I talked to, there was nobody that understood, where I was coming from.
No.
So I understand that it's like, when you get in that space, because for me, I was like, oh, I don't understand why everybody doesn't know this. But I know
It's
now.
it's it's interesting for those of us who have healed ourselves, who for those of us who didn't have anyone around us that gave a crap, that
Right.
we were literally wailing. I was literally wailing into pillows. And when I say wailing, I mean wailing
Yes.
because I had to let that energy go somewhere. It had to go, it had to come up and get out.
Yes.
Um, it's interesting, those of us who have been through it, but you are qualified to teach and coach and be a guiding light to individuals who have walked your path as well, having to raise other people's kids and nursing school and all of that stuff. You know, you have that set of skills for that demographic. So there's a lot of us out here with real life experience
Yes.
that can truly see. I always tell people, I'm not looking back there because nothing I want is back there.
No.
Okay, so I'm not even bothering to turn my head.
Well, we weren't
But
even created for that.
no,
That's why our head doesn't
but
go back.
I will reach my
That
hand back. And if you want it, you can grab onto it and come up
come
here.
on.
Now, the minute you let go of my hand, because I'm still moving.
Yes.
So the minute you let go of my hand, I don't know what to tell you because I'm still moving.
Yes.
I'm not staying stagnant. I'm not staying stuck. I am releasing limiting beliefs. I am sitting here doing the hard work even now.
Yes.
Even now.
Yes.
And being a solopreneur,
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes, yes. I laughed. I had somebody laugh and I said, yeah. I said, I don't, because they were saying, who does your podcast? I said, me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a VA. You know, I was like, I am the VA.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my podcast and
I'm
I
the
do my,
VA, the
I do
VP,
everything.
and
CEO,
everything
CFO.
in between.
Yes. So no, it's like, no, but you're right. But this
Hmm.
journey is here for us.
But it's beautiful at the end.
Yeah.
When I crossed over and realized I was finally coming out of the darkness, it was it's an indescribable feeling. My children, I asked one of them why they came back. And she said, "You're not the same.
Hmm.
You're
That is a
you're you're
testimony.
not the same person." And so um I decided to keep in contact. And she, in fact, my oldest child, I didn't even know that when she saw her two sisters a few weeks ago, she told them, "Moms, this was not like, gosh, back in November, my
Yeah,
brain,
I
oh, we
remember.
we already in February.
I know.
It's going fast."
It is
Back in
running.
November, she had gone to an event with them and she told them she's not the same mom. She's not the same mom. That's a different person.
That's a testimony.
And they reached out. So
That
two
is
of
such
them
a
are
blessing.
coming to see me in 9 days.
Oh,
In
that's such
nine
a
days for
blessing.
my birthday. So
And when is your
I'm
birthday?
so excited. Valentine's.
Oh, so next Friday.
Yeah. Yep. One is just flying up for the day or the night. The other one's gonna be here for 5 days. So
That is so awesome.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to spend
You
time
are.
with them and
I know
just
you
to
are.
love on my middle daughter and, you know, really have a heart to heart conversation and allow her to speak whatever truth she needs to speak. And
That's so beautiful.
yeah, we're gonna go to the African American Museum together and some other things.
Ooh,
So
that
I
is
am
so
really excited.
nice. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. So that's what we're doing. Oh, and I'm gonna make the biggest crab boil that can fit in my kitchen.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever offended by crabs.
Or lobster or shrimp. No.
No, that's right. Clams and mussels and scallops. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
got scallops.
Fish.
I got the 6 ounce lobster tails. I got like 8 of them. Scallops. I've got crab legs in there. I'll get king crab the day of because I don't want that in the freezer. It's too
No.
big.
Yeah, no.
Um, Too much space. And so, but I got everything else and I am ready. I am ready.
I'm so excited. That is so exciting. You know,
It
the
is.
thing is it's truly a testimony, especially that because there's so many of us that are having these experiences. The more I talk to
Yes.
people like our age group, and even
They're having
I
with
was
their
gonna say
kids.
even into the boomers, like my husband's a boomer.
Hmm.
Even his, and it's like, my God, what is going on and what is wrong with these children?
Well, it's not so much as what is wrong with them as it was what's wrong with us.
This is true. This is true.
It, it's
Because
it's
we
more
think about that, it's
kids
like,
kids don't just up and leave, especially those of us who were single parents. Kids don't just up and tell us the only parent they've ever had, you know.
fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So sometimes we have to look at the man in the mirror, even if it hurts.
Yeah.
And it hurt me. The the day the day I realized what I put my children through, I mean, it hurt.
The thing is You took the time and you did it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like so many of us, we do just like what I said. Oh, what's wrong with the kids? But then you sit down and you look at yourself when you open it up. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I haven't really experienced it to that extent because,
Right.
I told you about my daughter. She's just her. She actually
Hmm.
sent me like a 10 or 12 page letter. But I seen it from like my husband's side with his
Right.
kids.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. And that's a whole nother situation that didn't really, yeah.
Hmm.
But and then I
Hmm.
talked to like I think in the last couple of months, I probably talked to 5 or 10 people
Hmm.
that had those issues with their kids and they were in our age group. And I was like, my God, there's something going on with this.
But
What it is too is if we don't get the healing that we need, and we don't make those shifts and release those limiting beliefs and all of that stuff, then what can we expect?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And but the beautiful thing about it is if we heal, they become healed,
Yes.
and then their children are healed.
Yeah.
Our healing heals them.
Yes. Yes.
And so, yes, it's painful. Yes, nothing that I had to heal from was easy.
No.
Nothing that I had to heal from was okay, pop pop. Nothing, yes, sir.
I just saw
Um,
something behind you, so I can see that. Okay, go ahead.
be a pop pop. He's
I was
I've
like,
never I've had that lamp 2 years, never changed that light bulb. People don't understand pop pop. And that light stays on 24/7. That's pop pop's light. But that was the beautiful thing about healing was me healing healed a part of my children. Me
yes,
healing healed a part of my grandchildren.
yes.
The part of they don't get to see Nana is healed because they can call Nana when they want. Nana calls them. Um, the part where my children may have wondered why they weren't good enough for me to just be happy with them instead of always needing a relationship because I felt so incomplete. And I didn't look for relationships for me. I always thought that I wasn't good enough to raise such perfect beings. So I always looked for a partner because I had no self-worth.
Well, and not only that, think about the conditioning.
Oh yeah, the conditioning is definitely it plays its part.
Yeah,
But the bigger part and what I've stood on for years is I did not feel good enough to mother
yeah.
such perfect beings. And so I always got married or something so that they had somebody that I thought was better than me, but in fact, no, they were actually worse. And then my
But
last
ain't that what we were
relationship,
taught about in the church?
oh yeah, 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 that too.
I mean, we were never worthy, and
No,
what was that thing they used to say? A sinner saved by grace.
yeah, okay,
But you were never worthy. So, how could you be?
exactly,
You know.
exactly. And the only thing that I ever felt worthy of was abuse. That was the only way to get somebody to semi look like they love me, was for me to accept abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that's
so
why,
many women are go through that, and even men too.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah, I've had
realize that.
men message me.
Yeah.
I've had men message me. But that's why you hear me say on my TikToks when they come in talking, is Tom gonna marry me? No, you need to be in my program. Because why are you worried about Tom if he left yesterday? Tom told you how he felt.
Well, you already know anyway, because if you're in a relationship with somebody on any level, you already know this.
But this is why I harp on when I'm on TikTok. Love is an action word. It is not a feeling.
Yeah.
It's not a feeling. It's an action.
Right.
So I do things for people because I want to show them I love them. Um, and I don't have to spend any money to do that. We're not talking about things that are of monetary value. But for example, my best friend in the world, Dee, she shows me she loves me every day just by picking up the phone or sending me a message, "Hey, gorgeous, are you okay?"
Yeah.
Um, she shows me she loves me by checking my seizure cam to make sure I'm not laid out on the floor nowhere. And if these things go offline, honey, my phone is ring a ding dinging because she doesn't play that. So love is an action. It's not a feeling, and we need to stop acting like it's a feeling.
Hmm.
Um, People show you how they feel about you by their actions,
Yes.
and when they show you who they are, believe it. A lot of us empaths, especially, we have this ability to have somebody standing right in front of us, but we're like, oh, they're going to be such a great person. I can see down the road there. If they change, they can do that. No, this is what we need to be looking at. What's right in front of us.
No,
Who,
we're looking at
who are
potential.
they? Yeah. Who are they today? And if they didn't change a damn thing, would you be able to live with them? And if the answer is no, move on.
Yes. I agree all with all that 100%.
Move
100%.
on.
So many people need to hear this, and I believe that the people that need to hear it will.
I agree.
Because we are, that's the intention that I set.
That's the intention.
Conversations they need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
People need to know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think about it. It's really why I wrote my book, the
Mm-hmm.
second one that I wrote, because I needed people to know and not just to tell my story, because to be honest, my story don't mean nothing, but I need people to know that you can go through all these things and still come out on this side and still
Yes.
smile and still
Yes.
be loved.
Yes.
And you don't have to, bow down under the pressure of what you've been through and then come out and be evil and, nasty and
Mm.
critical and all these things. And so I wanted people to know that. And that was one of the reasons, that was really the main reason I wrote that book, because I was scared to write it at first,
Mm-hmm.
because sharing your story is freaking hard,
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh
hard.
yeah.
And I
The
was
first
like,
few times, girl, the first few times I was shaking, I had to hold my own self, my arms at my sides to look, like I was confident on camera, but I was shaking I was doing this on the first podcast, literally. When she came on the screen, I was like this. She was like, "Are you okay?"
no, because it's rough, because you're telling it. And, for me, I was like, oh my God, because so many people had no idea the stuff
Mm-hmm.
I was going through, because,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't tell people.
We don't talk. We don't talk
Look,
about the
in
details.
your house, it's in your house.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on in your house, stays in your
Stays
house.
in your house.
So people didn't, a lot of people that even close people to me, they had no clue,
Mm-hmm.
because I put that face on. I put the
Yep.
mask. We go to church. I'd be cussing him out in the car.
Right.
Get to church. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, saints.
Right. Right. Mm-mm.
It's insane when you think about it. But so I want you to talk a
Knockdown,
little bit.
drag out fight, then church.
Yep. And and I think about the times when, like when I was young and we were going to church, my mom, like, I got old enough to drive, and so she's like, no, 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 you gonna go to church with us, and you better be ready to get in the car at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we could get to whatever we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 blah. And you get cussed out if you wasn't ready. And then you go to church. Everybody's worshiping.
Acting like we're perfect while everyone was screaming. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's, so-
Been there, done that.
it's
Yep.
something. It's
Been there, done that.
absolutely. So tell us talk a little bit about where you see yourself going forward. Like, if you have any programs or anything that you're doing that you would like to see people to join.
Yes.
Yeah, some of that stuff. And then I have one more question to ask before we shut.
Absolutely. Yes, I do have spaces open in my guidance program. Again, I don't like the word coach. Let us know. Um, I do have spaces open right now. We just rebranded, revamped, uh, reimagined Black Butterfly Goddess as a whole. And I offer 3 tiers of coaching. I will resume teaching in March. So we've got a class about coming out of survival mode and stepping into your divine feminine flow.
Oh, nice.
Very important for those of us Gen Xers who were always taught to do, hustle, hustle, hustle,
Yes.
you know, stop.
Yeah. They forgot the
Um,
flow.
exactly.
They
Going
just told
going
us to
back.
hustle. Nobody said nothing about no flow.
Nope. So, I have that class coming up. We're also going to be offering Magic of Manifesting, and then there's an Empowered Soul bundle class that's coming up in April. And then what we are doing in March, most importantly, is my 4 week class, and it's only 4 Saturdays for 2 hours each on healing from narcissistic abuse, gaslighting, codependency, and complex PTSD.
Nice.
That class is being offered quarterly now because so many people need it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so yes, the coaching, the classes. I also teach psychic insight with sacredyou.com. So if you'd like to become a member at Sacred You, I can be seen there on Wednesday nights. And yeah, a lot of big things. I'm looking to take the stage this year. So a lot of big things. And my memoir will be out between Christmas and my birthday of next year,
Very nice. Very
February
nice.
14th.
I am so excited. I'm just so excited just to see how everything unfolds. It's just amazing. I love, love, love that. So I have one question that I need to ask that I ask everyone that comes on the show. If there was one thing that you could change in the world, what would that be and why? Oh, she's frozen. You have just watched my amazing interview with the Black Butterfly Goddess, Taiwana Yvette. And so she touched on so many amazing things. She shared about her journey um, coming through different types of abuse. She shared about her healing journey where she was able to heal and become the mother that her children needed her to be. She talked about the separation period, which was so amazing just to hear and to see how she made it over, really. We talked a little bit about deconstructing from religion, which is something that we both have in common. And so I'm just appreciative of you checking us out. And I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform that you're on. And make sure that you reach out to her because she has some amazing offerings that she shared. So I'm just so grateful. And I also want to share with you that if you are a spiritual entrepreneur, I would love to interview you on Straight Out of Savannah. I also have a membership that I am taking applications for right now for people to come in and be able to work with me at a reasonable price in a membership setting with live weekly Zoom calls in a community of like-minded people so that you can grow and learn and experience your spiritual gifts and be able to work in a way that you can help yourself as well as learn how to help other people. So join me in my membership. Remember the who the fuck you are. And so I have a link to my Stand store where I have lots of free resources as well as paid resources. The membership is in there. I also have a Discord chat that is available for you if that is something that you need. It's like having an intuitive on call where you can place something in the chat and I can address it within 24 hours. So that's something that's available as well. And make sure that you continue to follow me on TikTok at Intuitive Tammy, as well as YouTube at Intuitive Tammy. So I just want to appreciate you for taking the time out to watch these videos and these shows to see all the amazing, gifted people that have come through. So I hope that everything is magic in your life. And if it's not, you need to make that change. Do like Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. It's all on you, boo. So I'm signing out. This is Tammy with the $1 Billion Voice, and I'm signing out.